Okay, today I'm going to try and experiment with a leather project. Um, but I have a couple things I wanted to do first to start. First, I have a little bit of sage, um, and I'm going to just kind of, just a little bit, uh, start this process off right with just burning a little bit of sage, just to kind of purify the space and hopefully have a successful project. So this is a camping axe, a Buck Knives camping axe. I call it my Tomahawk. I've had it for many years. I got it when I was in the Marine Corps deploying to Iraq in 2005, and I wanted to have a weapon, a symbolic weapon on me for that mission. And I had this strapped to the front of my flak jacket, my vest, my armored vest, throughout that whole deployment. And I've carried it with me ever since. To be honest, I haven't used it that much. I have used it in the woods a couple times, but it's mostly just been something I've carried with me. Also, I keep it near my bed when I sleep, as kind of, I've kept it under my bed for many years, just in case, know where it is, kind of as a self-defense type weapon. But I want to do a leather project and make a sheath for this axe. I'll call it my Tomahawk from now on, but I want to, as you can see, here's the blade. I need to do a little bit of care and maintenance to it, maybe sharpen it and polish it, and that will be for another time. A lot of this cordage and 550 cord and all of that has been attached over the years, but I have a leather project. I recently started working with leather, and I want to make an axe sheath or a tomahawk sheath. So we'll set this aside right here. We've purified the space, so we'll do that. So just to show you some of the leather projects I've been working on. I started working with leather this past year. This is a coin pouch that I made. It's one of my early projects. I'm still working on a design, getting it just right, but this is one that I made. This is a cell phone case. This is probably one of my favorites. It's where I keep my cell phone. My leather satchel for work broke, so or needed some repair and maintenance, so I re-sewed this bottom piece to the strap here, and I also redid these attachments here. I stitched that. You can kind of see I used hemp cord, and you can see where I added new attachments and everything. So and also I got this kit with moccasin kit that I got, where I added some of my own cord here, and I only have one moccasin done, so I'll probably make a video when I do the other one. But just wanted to give you an idea of my interest in leather. So today, though, I want to make a sheath for the tomahawk. I was working with a different design where I made a template, and this was what I originally imagined. And you can see it kind of extends here, and this would be a hole, and the strap would come through this hole in the tomahawk and then kind of attach. But I don't think that hole is really big enough, and I think it would be more of a hassle for it to come through the hole. So I'm going to cut this part off. I'm going to make a new template and show you how I do that. Also, I'm very new to all of this, so bear with me if I make some mistakes. But yeah, so I'm gonna simplify this design quite a bit, have it just cover the blade here, but I'm also want to make something that wraps around here that can attach to a loop. You'll see there's something so I can hang it on the wall or hang it off my belt, but it'll actually be two different pieces. I don't know if I'll do them both in this video or not, but let's just get started. All right, so first I'm going to undo some of this cord here to make room. It's been many years since this has been messed with, so bear with me if it takes a minute. So I'll probably reattach some of this when it's all done. Okay, so let's try and make a stencil. Something like that. And this will fold over like that. So let's do that. I'm going to give myself about a half a finger's width because I might put some studs or rivets to hold it in place, but I'm going to do some cord, but I want to give it a little bit of extra. And I don't know if you all have watched any other videos for making axe sheaths or something like that, but I do like step one survival, where there's a former staff sergeant of the Marine Corps who does a lot of really cool leather projects. So I found his channel very inspiring, so I just want to say thank you to him and Semper Fi. Okay, so as you can see, this is very rough, but I just kind of rolled it over, and this is going to be our rough template. So let's see how this looks. All right. I want to do a strap that goes across. See this original design. I'm going to be copying this design a lot, and maybe I can make some minor improvements, but for the most part, I just want to personalize it, but I don't have much design experience, so I want to keep it simple and not get myself in trouble. So I'm going to copy that thickness of this strap that's already there. So let's call it 1/2 inch. So if we have this going like this, we then have a strap going around like this. Okay. So let's say right there. Now Now here's a bag of leather I got. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I've been using it for some of the other projects I showed you. But I still have some good pieces. I think this is a good piece. We'll go with this. Let's see if I can fit the strip. All right, that looks like that'll fit. So I'll take a pen. Trace out my template. Let's see if that shows up. That looks pretty good. How about this guy? And I have an X-Acto knife, but let's see if these scissors will cut. All right. So here's a strap. I made it a little bit longer to give myself some room to play with. All right. So let's see. Okay. Something like that. That. All right. So let's see. A little piece of wood. Okay, so I'm going to score this a little bit using something like the screwdriver on my Gerber. And to be honest, I don't know if that really does anything, but figured I'd give it a try. So again, we have fold right here. And I want to punch some holes. I got these rivets. I think to hold it in place. That. And then kind of see how much room I have to play with. I guess I got different sizes. So maybe I'll go with the smaller ones. I got this hole punch also at Michael's. When I got into leather crafting, my wife gave me a gift certificate to Michael's. So I'll go, and the cool thing about it is I can go and use a gift certificate, and you know, just on my phone I'll do Michael's coupon, and usually I can get 50% off. So I go one at a time and only buy one piece of equipment at a time, and then I can slowly build it up. It's a very inexpensive hobby to get started in. And when I started off, I just used a nail to make these holes, but now I have this this hole punch, so I'm going to use that. So I think no, I spoke too soon. I think I will use a nail. All right. Then I'm just feeling for the bottom corner. Then I'll just do another nail right here. So now I can make my holes. So let's try setting a rivet. There we go. Let's flip this over. Okay, so I attached one, and now I'm trying to push the other through. There we go. Like that. Put this piece here. This piece here. like that. Okay, so I'm going to stitch this up. I might make it a little wet first. But while I'm at this stage, I'm going to work on the strap. So for the strap, I'm going to need some more rivets. One, two. So how about we do like this, come around like this. Okay. So I'm going to do two rivets. I think I like it there. Okay. So they're probably a little closer than ideal, but I really wanted to double it up. So we'll see if we can make it work. All right. So now I want to have this strap come into about right there. Right there. Just marking my holes for the snaps. Okay, so now I have my holes. This piece goes here, and I hammer that down with this. There we go, like that. And this snap goes right there. The setter underneath, have a little point that goes right in that hole. Like that. All right, so now we have a piece that comes around and it snaps. Okay, now I'm going to trim off because the snap is a little raised. I don't know if you can see, but it kind of goes up a little bit. So I want a little bit of flap to go over it, but I think I want it like here. See that? So I'm just going to take maybe the scissors would have been better. For the rounded off edge. Like that. All right. So now we're getting somewhere. I want to have stitching that goes along here, and as you can see, it's a little bit warped from the fold, but I'm hoping once I get it stitched and worn out, it'll hold in place nicely. So I think I want the stitching to go right here. And I'll space it out 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to go like that all the way around, making these holes a little bigger for the stitching. All right. So I just used this nail to tap little holes all the way across. Tried to puncture through. I know it's a little messy, but it'll look all right. So here I have a bigger piece of, I could use this cord right here, but I think I want to use this hemp cordage. I think it'll contrast nicely and it'll match the hemp that I already have from before. So I don't need that much. You know, I got this for just a couple dollars at, like, I think it was Michael's, yeah, because I was telling you I've been using those Michael's coupons. But that should be more than enough. So, and I got this, you can see it's got a little bigger hole. And then what I like to do is double it up. So it's like that. And if this sits here, I think I'll start at the, I'll go inside and out the first hole. See that? I'm coming out the first hole, but I'm going inside. I like to use my Gerber to push it through. Or I can just use my axe. How's that? My Tomahawk. Push that through. Then I'll pull this through until there's just a little bit left over. Right like that. Tuck that in there and we're going to sew it up in there. So then just pushed in. I forgot the reason I like to use my Gerber is I can push through here and then pull out. All right, see that? So a lot of people do this like double stitch in 2 needle thing that I've seen on a lot of YouTubes, but Step 1 Survival does it this way with 1 needle where he stitches all the way up and then turns around and comes all the way back. And I prefer that method myself. So again, I'm trying to push in that cord. All right. Just like that. All right. Push through and pull. I think I'm going to burn a design onto the face here, but I'm probably going to do that another day because I've been doing a lot of other projects and I'm running out of time. So I'll do that and do another day, but I have this book of ancient like Mayan and Aztec signs, and I like to use that to burn into some of my leather, like I told you, my cell phone case. You can see that's like an eagle. I got that design from the book. So I'll do something similar for this, but It'll be in this video, but it'll be on another day. So now I made it all the way up to the top. See how it skips? So now I just work my way back. See, going through this first hole on the way back. And it ends up looking pretty nice. See that? I could have used glue to glue it before I stitched it. And I've experimented with that, you know, just using super glue and on some of my other projects, but for this one I didn't. Maybe it would be a little less warped if I would have folded it and glued it before I started putting the rivets in, but you know, this is for Tomahawk, and it's going to be, you know, like a rugged kind of cover. So I imagine it'll get worn and kind of fall into place pretty quickly. So I'm not too worried about it. And then I'll just trim up and clean up the edge here after I'm done. But this is definitely, I'm a beginner, so if there's a better way to do anything in here, I'm sure there's many better ways. But I think this will work, and it's going to be personalized. And it's really good stress relief too. That's one reason I do this, is the journey, not just the result. But I really find it peaceful and relaxing to just see. I've already developed a new shortcut where I'm just pressing against the board. So there we go. Almost done with the stitching. There it is. You know, I'm going to try and puncture one more. See if I can do a straight puncture without a hole. Just out of curiosity. Yep. So this isn't the thickest leather, but I still think it'll do its purpose. There we go. Now to tie it off, I'm just going to kind of go back inside here. And again, try and come out in the middle. Well, first I'll just come back here one more. One more. then I can do scoot up through here to do a knot that way, kind of. You see I just slid through, and now in this one I'll try and come out the middle. Yeah, see that? Have it coming through the middle. I can pull it through the middle like this. And then I'll come through the middle one more time. Like that. That's pretty good. I can just cut that away. So let's see how we're looking. Looks like we're getting somewhere. I'm going to wet this with some water. I don't know if it's necessary, but I like how it looks when I wet it. And I hope when it dries it maybe tightens a little bit. So I'm going to wet that. And then I like to trim this off. The way I've been trimming it is I use this. Let's see if I can do it right now. So I can sand it also, but I have some sandpaper. Sandpaper. Probably going to sand this piece off here a little bit. So this doesn't match, so I'm going to clean that up. Yeah. So we're getting there. I think I'm about done for today. I could cut this little flap. Yeah. I think right there. This one I'll just try with the scissors. So I'm going to do a follow-on video and maybe do a little design right using the space here and here, maybe some minimal design, and then something here as well. And I'm still going to make a something that wraps around here that loops up, and then so I can hang it on the wall or hang it on my belt. Just there it is. Okay, so we're back with my Tomahawk sheath, and I ran into an issue where the snap broke here, so I'm going to reset it, and I'm still learning with all this, but I don't think I think when I set it the first time it was kind of distorted. Let me pull this out. So I think that was one of the issues. You can see there it was distorted, so I didn't get it, I didn't pound it flat. So I'm going to try again just with that one piece to pound it flat again. And I saw somewhere that pounding it on wood isn't as good, so I'm going to try it on this concrete on my back patio and see if that makes it a little better, and then we'll just go from there. Also, I have a design that I'm going to burn into the leather. You know, I call it artwork, and that's something that I find really rewarding about this process. And again, you know, I've watched several YouTubes on different channels, but Step 1 Survival is probably the one that I rely on most heavily. So I just slid that into place, and I'm gonna put this on the floor here. Hold it on. So that seems to be a little smoother. All right, so we'll see how that holds up. I think a thickness with the leather is another issue. This leather is pretty thin, so that may be another one of the issues, but I do have a little bit of that curve distortion here, but not as much as last time, so it's more straight on. I'm feeling better about it. So moving on, I want to show you where I'd like to get a lot of my inspiration. Is this book I got it years ago. It's called Design Motifs of Ancient Mexico. A lot of these symbols are very ancient and very powerful, and you know, I've incorporated some of these designs as inspiration for tattoos and a lot of other things. So but for leather work, I feel like these designs are perfect because they're simple but powerful. So usually, you know, in the past I've taken a picture, brought it into, like, you know, photo editing, like, you know, PowerPoint or like Photoshop, and brought it in and sized it and all of that. But I actually ran out of printer paper The only paper I have is this legal size paper, which is a little bit too big. But I've got my two designs that I want to use. You see them? Yep. So this design here, I'm going to burn across here. And I know this flap is going to cover up it a little bit, but I feel fine with that. And then this design here, I'm going to burn right here. So the way to transfer it, I just traced it with paper. And then I trace it again over the leather with a ballpoint pen. Alright. And then to etch the design in, I have a little like soldering iron that I got at a flea market. And I think there's different wood burner tools with different nozzles or attachments. Alright. So the design is kind of visible. I have a little bit of the impression, but it's not perfect. But there's enough to get me started. So I've had this plugged in for a few minutes. So this definitely doesn't come out perfect, but I do like the look. I like to personalize. This. That's the whole idea, right? You know, like it had a little plastic sheath that it came with, but this weapon, which I mentioned has been with me for many years, come with me all over the world. I think there's power in burning a symbol like this into it. There's that. So let's do the other side. Okay. So I'll probably do one more video where I fill in the designs with some black and maybe polish up the leather one last time, but that's about it. Okay, we're back. It's been about a week, but I wanted to finish up this project. So can't really see the design, so I'm just going to use a permanent marker to fill out the design a little bit, and then I'm going to polish it up, and then I'll be done. All right. So there's one side. Let's do this side. So the way I got into or interested in leather is I had a cell phone case, and the cell phone case was actually an old eyeglasses case that I had gotten at a thrift store, and it was leather, and it worked really well. And it broke, just worn out. Then I was looking at a thrift store for another eyeglasses case, but those are designed for eyeglasses. And finally, I was just looking at it, it's like, well, this is just a piece of leather. I bet I can figure out this and make it on my own and be more personalized. So then I just started watching some YouTube videos, and yeah, it's a pretty inexpensive hobby. You can use very inexpensive materials, as you can see. I'm just going to do the edge here. I just picked up this permanent marker for 47 cents at Walmart, but I figure it's pretty similar to, I mean, it's black dye, right? And if I get more into it, you know, I'll invest more money, but for now, for these little projects, it's more about the process and the experience than anything else. And like I said, this Tomahawk has been with me for many years, and it's good to reconnect with it, bring it back into my life. Personalize it even more. All right. So I'll do more videos with some leather, but thanks for watching. And I'm going to do another piece here that covers here so I can hang it on my wall. But that's all for now. Oh, I messed up. I misspoke. This is Vaseline petroleum jelly, just to polish it up at the end. Just a little tiny bit goes a long way. Okay, now we're done. All right, thanks for watching. right there.